Alright everybody, welcome back to another all-time video. I'm recording this super late at night, so the energy might not be there. Well, super late for me, I gotta go to bed soon. But actually I can get this in now. I put this on a shelf for a while, and then I recorded it last time. Got a little too angry, a little less journalistic than what I'm used to. So I tried to go through a little more sleepy, a little bit more calm. And I'm gonna try to not speed through it. Last time I sped through it, I thought it was gonna take me like an hour to record, but it took me 18 minutes speeding through it. So we're gonna take it relatively slow. You know me, I talk a little fast. You gotta get used to. Maybe you put it in 0.75 speed to understand my voice, maybe. Alright, so this is gonna take a lot of honorable mentions, and we're gonna start out with the first slide of honorable mentions. I think I have 7 and 7, which is 14 guys, which is a lot. That's a lot. But the honorable mentions, I guess I put here my notes are long, 2 slides, so bear with me here. BJ Penn, former champion, 3 title defenses. Notable wins include Matt Serra, Takanori Gomi, Jens Pulver, Sean Sherritt, Kenny Florian, Diego Sanchez. The reason why he's not on the list is because obviously his losing streak and his mentality of record schmeckard. I don't care. I don't care if it's 14-4 or 14-0. It kind of makes it hard to explain to somebody this guy was like one of the greatest of all time, but in his prime he was. That's just not fair to say because it's not a prime video. Jens Pulver is another one, former champ with 2 title defenses. Notable wins are over Dennis Hallman. I mean, I guess he beat Matt Hughes twice. BJ Penn and Joe Stevenson. Joe Stevenson is I think, multi-time title challenger, if I'm not mistaken. RDA, a former defending champion, meaning he defended once. Notable wins are Donald Cerrone, Benson Henderson. Donald Cerrone's a Hall of Famer, by the way. Benson Henderson, former champion. Nate Diaz, Anthony Pettis, former champion. Paul Felder and Moicano, a title challenger. Anthony Pettis, the other one I just watched the podcast and the Showtime kick tonight, conveniently. The podcast Mighty Mouse, which brought up his name earlier. Anthony Pettis, former defending champ. Notable wins are Benson Henderson, who's a former champion twice, which we'll get into that. That kind of spoiled who's in the top 5 already, but that's okay. Jeremy Stevens, Donald Cerrone is a Hall of Famer. Gilbert Melendez is a title challenger. Miller's obviously most wins in UFC history. And Michael Chesia. Sean Sherritt, interesting one, former defending champ. Notable wins are Kenny Florian and Tyson Griffin. He was on a crazy 8-0 run between welterweight, lightweight. Some people might put him on there, but I just think he wasn't really, as you can tell, his resume wasn't really crazy enough. I gotta go back and get over why the last 3 guys are not worthy of the top 5. Well, maybe not on my top 5. They could be worthy there. I just think Jens Pulver's resume wasn't great enough, but he did the best what he was given at the time. RDA, I think he just needs more title defenses. I also think the weird, like, kind of not sort of losing streak, but like he kind of just isn't as good as he used to be. Kind of had a fall off there. And then Anthony Pettis, also he just lost a lot in his career. Anyways, the next is former champion. Notable wins are Gilbert Melendez, Anthony Pettis, RDA, and Justin Gaethje, which is pretty interesting. The reason why he's not there is no title defense, but he also ran into the buzzsaw that was Prime Connor. Speaking of Prime Connor, I'm mentioning Prime Connor kind of to keep the Glazers off me because Glazers insist that he's like a top 5 lightweight, which makes literally no sense because he's 1-3 in lightweight. So, but he's a former champ, I guess. So you guys can say that. Justin Gaethje is a former interim champion. Notable ones include Michael Johnson, Edson Barboza, Donald Cerrone, Tony Ferguson, Michael Chandler, Rafa Fiziev, and Dustin Poirier. I don't really know. I just think Gaethje, just a lack of fights per se. I think he needs a little more. You know what I mean? I think his resume is fine. Needs a little more to add to it, maybe. I don't know. I don't like Gaethje's in the top 5, to be honest, but I think we can all agree Gaethje could be top 5. He's not in my top 5. Personally, he could be there, though. Tony Ferguson, former interim champ. Notable wins are T-Bow, Josh Thompson, Edson Barboza, RDA, Kevin Lee, Anthony Pettis, and Donald Cerrone. The losing streak, kind of the obvious one, and latest GFL signing. Nate Diaz, super underrated in my opinion. Good run at lightweight, but just not good enough. I think notable wins include Takanori Gomi, Donald Cerrone, Jim Miller, Gray Maynard, and Michael Johnson. Donald Cerrone, man, the real BMF. He's been on a lot of these resumes because he fought everybody. Don't care who you were. His notable wins are Charles Oliveira, Jeremy Stevens, Adriano Martins, Edson Barboza, Jim Miller, Eddie Overs, Benson Henderson. Adriano Martins, kind of. I've put in there to slight Islam. But yeah, we all know Donald Cerrone wasn't really just. He was good, but he wasn't great. Well, he was great. He's a weird one. He's an enigma. He's a very unique case. Could be top 5. That depends on your criteria. Kenny Florian, who's an OG of the sport, man, super underrated. His notable wins are Dean Thomas, Joe Stevenson, Clay Guida, and Takanori Gomi. And then Jim Miller. If your criteria is longevity, Jim Miller hits that, buddy. Unked and all unks, which is a good thing in this context. Notable ones include T-Bow, Charles Oliveira, Takanori Gomi, and Clay Guida. Now, number 5, I've Khabib Nurmagomedov. I'm gonna try to be nice to him. Hypercritical of him in his career, not as a person per se. It's more the fan base that annoys me with Khabib. So I'm gonna try to be calm here, be reasonable. Khabib's a stand-up guy, I guess. I mean, I heard some things about him, but I won't get into that. It's not about personality. We're not doing personality video. We're doing resumes on paper, all that. And he makes it his on paper. On paper, his resume is great. But we'll get into it's not so great and why he could be potentially taken off the list. Anyways, good fighter, great grappler. I guess we'll get into that. Good at fight IQ, I guess. Former champ for out of defenses. He's second in title fight wins and win streak, third in control time and takedowns landed, and he's eighth in submission wins in lightweight history. And now for the mean stuff, the con things. I mean, I have my notes here. We're just going to go off the notes to try to be more calm here. I mean, he's an overrated can crusher. I mean, the record of his opponents at the time of fighting him is 161 and 131. It's the combined record. That's 30 wins separating. That's not good. That's horrible. That's just horrendous. There's no other way to splice it. I can't be nice about that one. He basically has 3 good wins. So my justification, people like to make the argument like 7-5, but if we're talking like all-time wins, we cannot take Conor, who was drunk, boxing, and coming off a layoff from the boxing and the ankle injury as an all-time win. In our rational, sound minds, we just can't look at that and say, this is an all-time win. Also, again, he only had 1 win at lightweight at the time. It was one of the most undeserving title shots of all time. I understand the context. They wanted money. But still, that's not legit. The Poirier fight, despite the fact that he was getting torched on the feet and got put in a deep gilly, he did beat him, and that's an all-time win. RDA undeniably is an all-time win. I think RDA we established is pretty good. He's well-rounded enough. Still wouldn't consider him a good grappler, but he's well-rounded enough. And then Justin Gaethje, undeniably an all-time win. I can't really argue there. Although the circumstance of that one could be a misweight, guys. I mean, if you go look at the scale, go look at Chael Sonnen's video talking about it. Chael Sonnen has a great quote, and Chael Sonnen's quote, paraphrasing, is as an MMA fighter, when the scale is going down, you've done your job. When it's going up, you failed. You didn't do your job. You missed weight. If you go watch, you can watch Guru's video, you can watch the official weigh-in video, you can watch the YouTube short uploads, you can watch Chael's video. The videos are all there. The scale is going up, and the athletic commission guy brings it down, stops, says clean 155, and if you look at Khabib's facial expression, he's like, oh, alhamdulillah, we made it, you know? Like, he's freaked out, he's spooked. Because he was probably weighing like 160, 157. There's no way he was making 155 clean just because the scale was tilting up on a crazy axis. It wasn't like a little tilt, it was a crazy tilt. And then another big thing about Khabib is he never fought a tough stylistic matchup in his life. He always got strikers with little grappling. And the argument will make, well, doesn't Gaethje's a D1 wrestler? Name one time Justin Gaethje's thrown a takedown. Tell me right now. Other than the Rafael Fiziev fight, which is a bonus takedown at the end of the round. Other than that, like, straight up, gun to your head, name 3 Justin Gaethje takedowns. I'm going to wait right here. All right, you can't. Thank you. He's not a good grappler in the context of MMA. I don't care if he's Division I wrestler, all that stuff. He is not a good grappler in the context of MMA. RDA isn't a good grappler in the context of MMA either. Edson Barboza didn't even know how to sprawl, buddy. Edson Barboza got 5-0'd by Lerone Murphy in 2024. But he doesn't know how to sprawl. That's not a good win at all. But he was standing up with the feet. That doesn't matter. He didn't know how to grapple. Khabib fought guys that genuinely didn't know how to grapple. And even Conor stuffed his takedown in open space in the first fight, and Conor's not a good grappler. It's very clear. And I put in the cons lost to T-Bow. He did. Gun to your head, name 3 notable things Khabib did in that fight. Exactly, you can't. I remember T-Bow winning the fight on the feet and getting a takedown. I remember that. And stuffing Khabib's shots. All I remember was Khabib was just nut hugging against the fence. Even his team was like crying because they thought he lost and his undefeated record was broken. Oh no. That was his second fight, correct, in the UFC, which I know it's not a fair argument or whatever, but like it is though, because Khabib always harps on this, and his fans always harp on this undefeated 29-0, but really you're 28-1. Even then, your regional fights suck. You're really like 12-1. Really, your regional fights are barely even valid. They were 2 rounders against guys 14-0 against the guy 2-0. Like again, we put 161 and 131. I believe it was 37-27 was the record of Khabib's first 15 opponents. Like, how are you guys saying this is a lightweight goat? I only have him here top 5 because it's hard to argue what he did on paper. But even then, if we went off paper here, he's not even top 8. Not even. Barely. He has 3 good wins, 29 fights. 3 all-time wins, I should have said, rather. Not good wins, all-time. That's horrible. He didn't have 7 good wins. I mean, you could argue 5, 4, really 4. The good wins that he has is like 5. You have your Michael Johnson, you have your RDA, you have your Dustin Poirier, your Justin Gaethje, and I feel like I'm missing somebody right now. Connor's not even like 4. You really have 4. All right, I keep going. 20 minutes here. Dustin Poirier is number 4. I know it's controversial. He's ranked above Khabib. I'll get into why in a second. Great fighter, phenomenal boxing, great chin, great cardio, underrated footwork and striking defense overall. Interim champ with a Hall of Fame resume. It's better than Khabib, guys. I'm just gonna do something nasty or do something dirty. I'm gonna skip straight to Dustin Poirier's resume. Let's just look into this, bro. Okay, this is just at lightweight, by the way. I could include the featherweight wins, just the lightweight wins, which featherweight wins would include Max Holloway, another champion. Oh, he also has that at lightweight too. So is that double the belts maybe potentially? No, I'm just kidding. Anyways, lightweight Bobby Green, Anthony Pettis, former champion. Justin Gaethje, interim champion. Eddie Alvarez, former champion. Max Holloway, former champion, 145. Dan Hooker, Conor McGregor, twice former champion. That's 1, 2, 3 former lightweight champions, more than Khabib. And if you add in the featherweight, that's 4 former champions, more than Khabib. And then I have Michael Chandler and BSD on here. I guess Michael Chandler, because he has all that Bellator crap and he beat Eddie Alvarez too, I guess. But yeah, that's a resume. That resume is better than Khabib's. I don't care. Dustin fought not a better Conor, but I don't know if fought a better Conor. Conor wasn't drunk. Conor was actually focused for that first fight. I know he was nice guy Conor. He was actually focused and locked in, trying to get some wins here. He wasn't really fully cooked yet. This argument that Conor was cooked because of Khabib is just dumb. Conor wasn't really. Conor really got cooked after that second Dustin fight when he broke his leg against Dustin because he realized it's over, it's done, it's gone. Anyways, getting back to Dustin's good things here, he is the most KOs and TKO wins type of Drew Dober. A little fun fact there with the most, you can still say the most. He's third in significant strikes, fourth in finishes / knockdowns landed, and he is fifth in total strikes landed in lightweight history. Now he has 9 losses, 4 of those are at featherweights. We're just gonna scrap those for the sake of the video because we're just talking about your lightweight resumes, your lightweight stuff here. It's not about featherweights. That's a separate video in and of itself. I think I've already discussed Poirier's featherweight losses. Now I have to find the losses here. Michael Johnson, the verdict is still out. I say for this recording, I said the verdict was still out. This recording, I say Michael Johnson's good. I mean, if you beat good guys, you're good, even if you're inconsistent. Even though you're the type of guy that to beat Aspinall by unanimous decision and then get submitted by Mario Bautista, you're still good, you know? Khabib, very close fight. Dustin hurt him on the feet and got him on the gilly, man. And Khabib admits, almost got him. Not that bad. Bronx dropped him. Not that bad. Gaethje, part 2, which wasn't really that bad. It was a close-ish fight, and then he got a head kick. Can't really argue with that. And then Islam, quick turnaround, 3-month turnaround. And in a fight where the judges had it 2-2. Not bad at all. Basically a fluke ankle pick got him. He could have arguably won the fight, essentially. And bad, though, is it's hard to explain to people how losing 3 world title shots still makes you top 5. But Poirier is just that guy. Bro is just that man, you know? He just has that level of resume and that caliber opponents. Now my filler con here is how do you gauge the Gaethje thing? If you say it's a clear avenging for Justin Gaethje, I don't really say because they both finish each other and also the circumstances. You know what I mean? I don't know. I think a third fight would be good for them, but it doesn't really necessary. I think you can rate it as both a good win and a loss if you want to. That's kind of how I did it. I kind of treated it as both here, but that's completely up to you. So if you say that Gaethje avenged and Gaethje's better, you could maybe give Gaethje a little bunny hop, maybe. But I think the nature of his Khabib fight is harder to argue with. Where at least Dustin was like, you saw signs of him beating Khabib in air quotes, whereas Justin was kind of standing 20 feet away from it, not doing anything. But anyways, I'm going to take a little break here and then record the rest of this video, I think, because we're about 15-minute mark. I already know this video is going to get, first of all, it's 10:36 at night right now, Eastern Standard Time, so very late to record a video for my standards. I gotta go to a funeral, bro. Not a love one, by the way, not like a personal love one. It was my gym teacher, but he's like mad chill. And yeah, anyways, I'm too personal there, my bad. But no one knows. No one knows. Anyways, I've already dug myself in a hole with the Khabib Glazers, the Islam Glazers, Muslims, Justin Gaethje Glazers, Tony Ferguson Glazers, Conor Glazers, Irish people, and now BJ Penn Glazers, all the heads, and jiu-jitsu guys. So I've already dug a hole with 10 different people, and now I'm gonna dig it even further. We're talking about Benson Henderson and putting him number 3, but you have to listen to me. You just have to agree with me. So we counted WEC in our featherweights and bantamweights videos. I am doing the same thing here. You can say that's not fair because they were simultaneous, whatever, but that's besides the point. So is featherweight, you know? You know what I mean? But there wasn't a champion. You know, I'm just saying, bro. It's just Benson Henderson, man, he's a hard one to explain. That's why I wanted to record. It's not because of the 50-minute mark. Well, it kind of was because I need time to talk. But also because Benson Henderson is a weird one. We'll get into it. He's a good fighter. Great wrestling, jiu-jitsu, amazing cardio, and good striking to top it all off. Chin also absurd. Like, this guy's not human, bro. He's like an apostle from Berserk. Like, this guy's like a fake human, bro. Some of the stuff, like when Donald Trump bent his arm fully backwards or when Anthony Pettis, like the Showtime kick. Like, how do you even survive that? Or like all of Cerrone's submission attempts, bro. He was literally getting like arm barred. His arm was straight, like fully bent, and he was just like, nah, got out of it. Like, he was. It doesn't even make sense. Like Prime Benson Henderson. I don't want to be Glazer because I'm not like huge of a fan of him, but like it's just absurd what this guy was doing. Just like eat, like again, he just straight up ate the Showtime cake. He didn't get finished. He was still conscious and of sound mind, bro. How is it even? Well, not of sound mind, as sound as he could be. He's a good fighter though. Former champ with 3 title defenses, 4 if you include WEC as one of WEC. Second in title fight wins. He would be tied for first if he included WEC, and he's eighth in win streak in UFC lightweight history. He also was first in decisions or tied for first in decision wins. If that really matters, we'll get into that. He has 12 losses in MMA, but a lot of those are at the Bellator stuff, the Bellator runs, especially at welterweight too. He was kind of old and really shouldn't have been there, but kind of an issue. But for the sake of the video, only 4 of them are relevant. So let's look at it that way. Anyways, those losses are, well, first of all, Cerrone and RDA. Not that bad. Not that bad, guys. Come on. Like, this, because Khabib's and those people are going to say, no, defeated, but like this argument that like losing to good comp automatically makes you a bad fighter is just so stupid. It's so brain dead and so backwards. But that's literally the point of fighting. You win some, you lose some. Phil Rowe had a great quote. It was, I don't care how long you've been around. I don't care if undefeated you have lost at some point, whether it be in the fight or on the scorecards. Every fighter has lost, and that's absolutely true. Every fighter has lost. It is undeniable. Well, maybe, but you get what I'm saying, though. Guys lose. It's natural. We can't be boxing here. We can't be like, oh, you lost once, your career is over. We can't do that. We aren't boxing. Dana White specifically asked us not to be boxing. We are MMA. We are a different sport. We're a different group. We're a different fan base. We need to start treating. Well, it depends though, because like Tony Ferguson, we can obviously like, yeah, you lost 8 times, buddy. But like, if you lose 1 fight or 2 fights, even like in this case 4 fights, it's not horrible. Especially the comp. Donald Cerrone, Hall of Famer, RDA, defending champion. You know what I mean? I think people need to understand that Benson Henderson in his losses, at 12 losses, obviously is a lot, but let's just look at it as looking at his lightweight resume, specifically UFC and WEC. That's not that bad at all. Now, the real thing is he was a I said chinny. Chinny isn't the word, but like he ate a lot of shots on the chin. He had a good, kind of like Yuri. You know how Yuri has a great chin, quote unquote, but eats a lot of shot on the chin and gets stunned. Henderson was like that, man. Henderson, that's why a lot of his fights were close, because he was eating things on the chin, and his chin didn't really go with him as he aged. He's kind of a decision merchant too. I mean, a lot of split decisions, man. You have Edgar to Melendez, Thompson, Masvidal, even like Cerrone won, which was unanimous, could have been split. Even like Pettis, the Showtime kick one, that was like 3-2, very close. The guy mastered, it's a Reddit comment, Benson Henderson has mastered the art of the close decision, and that's so true. And that's what makes it really hard to gauge him as an all-time great. But if we look at what he did and the fact that he was going to these close fights with great comp consistently and usually getting the upper hand, goes to show you that he's one of the great fighters of all time in the lightweight division. And also looking at his game overall, how well-rounded it was, how stylistic. Again, he's a Taekwondo guy who is a wrestler and jiu-jitsu guy. That sentence doesn't make sense, but it does when you watch Benson Henderson fight in the octagon. These kids, man, they didn't watch Benson Henderson. I know I'm a kid saying that. I'm 17 years old, but I've been doing my due diligence watching Benson Henderson recently, because I'm doing it for the sake of this video, because I want to know this guy is good. Because that guy Midas MMA was talking about him a little bit. He's unk status, but he's good, bro. My coach trained with like Kenny Florian, also unk status, but he was talking about Benson Henderson, bro. Like people talk about Benson Henderson, the real people know, the real ones know. You know what I mean? You gotta be a real one here. But yeah, anyways, getting back to the cons here, Anthony Pettis basically owned this guy's life, owned his number, owned his land. At this point, the only thing bro didn't own was like his family and Ben Henderson's like church. Like Anthony Pettis owned everything about him, bro. He Showtime kicked on him, bro. He stomped on him and won a fight, and then he subbed him in round one, which is just absurd. He beat Ben Henderson in his hometown with a Showtime kick, basically. He put him in submission attempts, bro. He was doing his own art again. He was doing his own thing against him. Like, it was just nuts. And then he did it again, and he subbed him. He subbed the jiu-jitsu guy in the first round in a UFC title fight. It's hard to explain to people that Benson Anderson was genuinely that guy, but Anthony Pettis just had his number. It makes no sense to this day that Anthony Pettis just had, no offense, Anthony Pettis, I love you. Like, I just talked about how well your podcast, you're great, but you just had bro's number. Like, Anthony Pettis just beat Benson Henderson. But if you basically take that away from him, Benson Henderson is arguably the greatest lightweight of all time. Arguably. Because then again, you take away one of his UFC losses, one of his WEC losses. You take away his like biggest like knocks on his career. Because we can't knock over his Bellator run, obviously. It's like just not fair. Well, sort of depends. That was at welterweight, and then like, went to lightweight, but he was just cooked and old and all that. And then Usman's also a drug cheat. So, anyways, yeah. Bro, if he got knocked out by the kick too, it would have been over. Benson Henderson all-time lightweight champions. I think they kept him alive in the lightweight all-time debate. Anyways, Benson Henderson has 2 WEC wins over Donald Cerrone, close 5 rounds, and a submission win in the second fight. He has UFC wins over Jim Miller, Clay Guida, Frankie Edgar twice, Nate Diaz, Gilbert Melendez, and Josh Thompson. It's good for what it's worth. I think it's definitely a good mix. I mean, your weakest win is Josh Thompson, which isn't really that bad at all. I think Benson Henderson is good for what he's worth. We just have to view him at what his proper worth is, you know what I mean? Which is, again, he's 3 or 4, I'd say. Definitely not 5. Just for what he was worth, because this guy was going to these close decisions with good comp. He was taking these guys into uncomfortable deep waters every time, which is like a good thing and a bad thing at the same time. This one, I'm a fan, so I'll try to stay unbiased here. Do Bronx one of my favorite fighters. I mean, how can I like the guy? If you don't like the guy seriously, you like actually need to like reconsider your life choices. Like you actually need to go like to a psych ward. Like not even mental, like psych ward. Like we're gonna straight up bring back psych wards for you. You can't hate Dude Bronx. There's nothing hate about the man. I don't see anything. He's a quitter. He already put this spot narrative. Also, he tore his neck muscle and shredded to shreds, bro. Stupid narrative. But he already, anyways, good striking. Sorry, it's a great fighter already. Good striking. The Muay Thai that's boxing base was amazing. Technical, phenomenal, clean on the feet. You pair it up with that all-time great, phenomenal, high level, amazing, extraordinary, fantastic. Whatever you want to say, you know. Jiu-jitsu. The jiu-jitsu's otherworldly, even. I think it's maybe a little bit of a stretch, but he's a former champion with title defenses on paper. I just put 3 here because he missed by the KG conversion. We'll get into that. Because he probably missed by several pounds, likely. They moved the scale back to the center. Wouldn't be missed weight, by the way. They just moved it back casually. So I already brought that up. Anyway, D-Box is second in finishes and subs, third in wins and significant strike accuracy, 7th title fight wins, and 9th in knockdowns landed in lightweight history, very well rounded. At the point of 10 losses, he's kind of a journeyman for prior months. We have to look at it at his lightweight peak run. You know what I mean? Not his journeyman run, but it's very just hard to do. What else we got here? Anyways, those lightweight losses though before his lightweight one were Jim Miller, Donald Cerrone, both early in his career relatively, because he went up to lightweight for a little bit and then went back down to featherweight. All fell there. He was pretty good. And then Islam, obviously that happened, and then a close fight with Armin Tsarukyan. It's not that bad. Not bad at all, man. Those are horrible losses, I would say. I mean, the real kind of the majority of the population basically says he has 2 title defenses, which isn't as good as Islam, because Islam has 4. But at the end of the day, but you have to really kind of look at this from a perspective of the fact that he missed by a KG conversion when DC cheated and made weight, and Khabib cheated and made weight, Hamzat cheated and made weight. People say, whoa, they didn't extend it. You really think they extended the weigh-in for Bruno Silva? Look me in the eyes and tell me you think in a okay, we can't get there. It was the Saudi Arabia fight night. Yeah, if I'm mistaken. And Saudi Arabia are gonna move the weigh-ins by an hour for Bruno Silva, the Brazilian fighter. Stupid argument, buddy. It was for Hamzat, and he didn't make weight in the proper time. And they don't extend weigh-ins. I don't think they've ever. I can't recall a time they extended a weigh-in. Let's be real here. If you can, let me know in the comment section down below. Anyways, I guess a filler con is that it's Ginny questionable IQ, and he got dropped a lot during his title run, but still he wins fights at the end of the day. We can't really argue with that. It's kind of a filler, I'll be real. He's kind of brute forcing his wins, quote unquote, just like, I'm gonna get dropped. I'm gonna get you something eventually. And then he kind of changed that mentality in this champion rematch. Anyways, on topic of wins, Dubrowx has Clay Guida, Jim Miller, Jared Gordon, Kevin Lee, Tony Ferguson, Michael Chandler, Dustin Poirier, Justin Gaethje, Beneil Dariush. Very good resume, especially considering a lot of these guys are finishes, you know. And he's 7-7 master. Anyways, it's painful for me to put Islam at number one. I'll be real. I am an Islam hater, but I will try to be nice-ish best I can. So, how do I word this correctly? He's a great fighter. You know, at the end of the day, he's probably number one in the world currently by most judgments. For me, it's Alex Pereira personally, but that's whatever. I can't really deny good IQ, good striking, great grappling, top it all off, good chin, good cardio. I can't really deny all that stuff. He's the current champion in lightweight with 4 title defenses, which is the record on paper. He has the most title fight wins at 5, longest win streak at 15, highest significant strike accuracy. He's third in some wins. And knockdowns, or taking defense, sorry, knockdowns, I read the TKD. And he's 4th in finishes and 6th in wins all time at lightweight. Now the cons, sorry, gets a little shaky, but obviously Adrian Martinez, who was the real ones we all call Pantoja, knocked him out, not super relevant. I had to slide him with that one. It was a crazy clip, bro. Islam was like limp. It was a brutal KO, very violent. I should put a clash play after that video clip in, but I just discovered you can do it with those lines and actually make it like less janky, because it was super janky when I tried to do this initially. Just the manual click setting, it's a little bit less janky. They're janky either way. I probably should just do my editing software, which my school pays for, but it's whatever. This is 13th of May fight too, so you can say not that wrong, especially approaching 30 fights. I'm kind of hater. Now the real issue though is the 3-2 vote. 3-2 vote performance where I vote 1-3-2 pretty clearly. All this something was just not how it more control time. Volk out struck and Volk even knocked him down, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, I had a 3-2 Volk all the way. It's undeniable. I don't see why anybody can argue this. But I got a face for you know, so we'll get into it. Now, as I said earlier, I am a D1 hater of Islam and pretty much all things Pakistan. And it's just because that's a whole video of itself. I'll try to stay on topic here. The limited time that I have left, I'm at 13 minutes. First and foremost, there's no steroids question, by the way, when you get pissed off at steroids. Like, hey, you put number one because he's a drug cheat, and we're going to do it. You'll see. You'll be convinced. You'll be convinced. My goal is not to convince you, but you'll be convinced. Anyways, first and foremost, on video, there's a YouTube short Bobby Green time edit. You can find it in interviews, you can find it other places, articles, wherever you want to do it. Islam admits to getting supplements from the Russian national team. You know, the country which is known for PED suspensions, we've got it, and doping in the Olympics. Get the medals taken away, and like can't compete and all that crap. Another thing, Islam had this heart arrhythmia condition, which this is the issue where the test, this failed test comes from. So I don't know if he's still on medication, which he might still be, but he was on 10 different medications for this condition. When the medical standard, well, first of all, one of these medications was a steroid which the Russian national team for, I believe, wrestling example, were caught using. Very suspicious, isn't it? That the doctors gave him a steroid, a banned substance that the Russian national team was caught for. Interesting. Another thing, Islam's heart arrhythmia, like I said before. Normally, the medical practice is 1 to 3 medications for the condition, not 10. I understand the severity of the condition might be used, but 10 just feels a little bit like medical malpractice, a little bit overkill. Or they're trying to hide something, you know? Another thing, the subsidy has a positive force on another Russian athlete, from a different athlete system, from a different sport. You might know her, Maria Sharapova, right? Tennis player. You might know she's pretty popular, you might not. This is around the same time frame. This was 2016, 2016. This is very close. Around the same time frame. That's a very good pin. This is a good low cards principle here. This is a good trace evidence here. You know what I mean? And I'm not looking deeper, guys. We're not even done here. This is why I said I got angry for it. It's so stupid. People believe what was said about these tests. It's so stupid. I'm putting him at 1 because strictly on paper, the test was reverted. But use your brain here, guys. Charles Oliveira's a lightweight goat because he's not a drug cheat. Put it that way. Okay, so the agent, as we call it, the testing agent that was responsible for conducting the test, was the same testing agent that said John Jones was clean when he was pulsing for the picogram, bro. That's already compromised. And we aren't even done. Let's break into the substance that he was suspended for. It's probably like, what substance was it? Melodemium, which itself was made by the USSR. And its benefits? Greatly increased aerobic capacity, greatly increased recovery rate, and it even increases your testosterone, which increases your strength and your grip strength. Sounds a little bit like something we know. That tight Dars joke, totally natural. Just good hard work, fine hard work from all the 7 and 7s he's pulling that gets Hamzat and every other natural athlete. I might just cleared Hamzat in the world, put in the hospital. Totally normal to pull a 7 and 7 every week for months straight. Natural, totally normal. Even on father, whatever the guy's name was, I can't remember his name. Abdumovich, right? Nurmagomedov. He said that he gave his athletes supplements. The team is very open about that. Eagles MMA, they will receive supplements from Khabib's father. You know what I mean, bro? A little bit weird, isn't it? And here you go. Here's the next thing about melodelium, right? I'm getting off topic here. The substance stays in the body for months. Now, for me, with all this being said, stays in the body for months, increased aerobic capacity, increased recovery rate, increased testosterone, which increases your grip strength and your strength. Another Russian athlete failed for the test. The Russian national teams were caught using this. A country is notorious for doping. Walks like a duck, talks like a duck, is a duck, notorious for doping and steroids. All this to me sounds like Islam Makhachev purposely took a performance-enhancing drug, a banned substance, even though he's a UFC athlete. Nope, the WADA employee just said, wasn't at fault for taking the substance, wasn't at fault for it being in his body. How does it even work? It's not like Austrian where it can be transferred through sweat. How does it even work? He has to take the how doesn't even make sense. Also, if you're a UFC athlete and your doctor's prescribing anabolic steroids, I think you check to know that make sure it's on a banned substance list. Maybe not. You could argue that's a subjective thing that not every athlete, but these guys are so diligent. There's the ET trainee, play, sleepy, all that. They're so diligent, but he wasn't going to check what substance he was taking. A little weird, isn't it? For me, I think undeniably proves that he failed. And another piece of evidence, I'm not even done. They made this notion that he was not at fault for failing the test several years after he failed the test. Keep in mind, 2016. And they did this around the time that he became a champion and got that pound for pound number 1. And they gave him a jacket, 50 free tests, all that. It's very interesting when Dana says, hey, WADA, my pound for pound number 1 guy is a drug cheat. Fix this. Just put us under the rug here. We can't have John Jones Part 2. Interesting, isn't it? I'm not saying anything, but I'm saying Islam Makhachev is a drug cheat. That's what I'm saying. Now let's get into the short notice stuff, bro. Here's another thing, man. I'm going to get into validity of title defenses or fights in general, but defenses, you fought against the featherweight champ twice. First of all, featherweight twice. You fought basically 4 featherweights, basically. I mean, I know they're lightweights. Like, Dustin's a real lightweight. Money McConnell's a lightweight, but like Volk's a featherweight. Guys, come on here. We can't look at that. Anyways, let's just look at Volk 2, not even Volk 1, because Volk 1 has a Volk camp. I can't argue with that. I'm just nitpicking there. I will admit. I will concede there. Volk 2 did not have no full camp. Makhachev full camp prepared, ready to go. He had the physical advantage, cardiovascular advantage with layup. Everybody knows that. And then Moicano getting the number 10 contender on 1 day's notice. I was team Moicano, man. I'll admit. I thought he could do it. He had a full camp too. Everybody's going to say that, but like, it was a layup at the end of the day. It's 2 knocks of your 4 title defenses. I'm not even going to get into the Dustin title defense, bro. That was a 3-month turnaround from Dustin, and Armin was the number 1 contender at the time. That's weird. Now let's get into the non-title fights here. Bobby Green, 12 days notice. Dan Hooker, 5 weeks notice. Should have been RDA. Bobby Green, should have been Armin. Poirier also, back to the title fights, should have been Armin. He's had 3 opportunities to fight Armin, but Armin pulled out because the back. 3 opportunities, buddy. Islam has failed 3 opportunities to fight Armin. Who gave him his toughest fight? Also, I'm pretty sure the Armin fight was his debut, which was on short notice, and it was one of Islam's closest fights. Anyways, we'll get into these strictly on-paper wins from Islam Makhachev here. Gleison Tibau, because he beat Khabib, and I'm putting him on there. Armin Tsarukyan, I guess. Drew Dober, Jago Moses, counts for something, I guess. Dan Hooker, Bobby Green, Charles Oliveira, Volk twice, Dustin Poirier, Money Moicano. So that's something, but I urge you to think about all the short notice fights he's had and the fact that he failed a drug test very clearly and was caught doing it and got it overturned to fix his career. Just think about that. Anyways, I'm gonna get a lot of, like I said, that's 11 holes I've dug now probably. But yeah, thank you for watching this kind of chaotic and weird video. This video is just strange. Lightweight is always strange. Why I was gonna do it last, but I didn't want to do women's bantamweight, women's featherweight, and women's flyweight before doing this. So I just decided to just go ahead and rip this band-aid off and then make it have the women's videos. Sprinkle in there with some bangers because the views always tank. I mean, Troy has 4 views right now as I'm recording. So yeah. Anyways, Michael Jenner photo is actually somewhat relevant now, guys. So little clap and you know the drill. Thanks for watching and God bless.